If you haven't deposited the old 200, 500, and 1,000 naira notes with the banks, time is ticking as the central bank has doubled down on its resolve not to extend the timeline beyond January the 31st amidst the challenges and complaints by citizens. On this episode of the program, we unpack the issues, looking at all sides of the story. Thanks for joining us. I'm Jeffrey Uzango. The central bank, which is the monetary authority in Nigeria, ensures monetary and price stability, issues legal tender currency, maintains external reserves to safeguard the international value of the legal tender currency, promotes a sound financial system in Nigeria, and acts as a banker and provides economic and financial advice to the federal government. In 2022, the Central Bank of Nigeria expressed the interest to redesign the naira as a statutory responsibility and a way to curb increased circulation of counterfeit notes in the country. Some of the reasons cited by the CBN governor, Mr. Godwin Emefiele, after the approval for the redesign was granted by the president were fighting corruption, terrorism, kidnapping, and other unlawful practices.
We have called this gathering to inform all our stakeholders and the general public of persisting concerns we currently face regarding the management of our existing series of banknotes and currency in circulation, particularly those outside the banking system in Nigeria. As you all may be aware, currency management is a key function of the Central Bank of Nigeria as enshrined in Section 2B of the CBN Act 2007. Indeed, the integrity of a local legal tender, the efficiency of its supply, as well as its efficacy in the conduct of monetary policy are some of the hallmarks of a great central bank. In recent times, however, currency management has faced several daunting challenges that have continued to escalate in scale and sophistication with attendant and unintended consequences for the integrity of both the CBN and the country at large. These challenges primarily include: 1, significant hoarding of banknotes by members of the public, with statistics showing that over 85% of currency in circulation are outside the vaults of our commercial banks. To be more specific, as at the end of September 2022, available data at the CBN indicate that 2.73 trillion naira out of the 3.23 trillion naira currency in circulation was outside the vaults of commercial banks across the country and supposedly held by members of the public. Evidently, currency in circulation has more than doubled since 2015, rising from 1.46 trillion in December 2015 to 3.23 trillion as of September 2022. I must say that this is a very worrisome trend that cannot continue to be allowed. 2, worsening shortage of clean and fit banknotes with attendant negative perception of the CBN and increased risk to financial stability. 3, increasing ease and risk of counterfeiting, evidenced by several security reports. Indeed, recent developments in photographic technology and advancements in printing devices have made counterfeiting relatively easier. In recent years, the CBN has recorded significantly higher rates of counterfeiting, especially at the higher denominations of 500 and 1,000 naira banknotes. Although global best practice is for central banks to redesign, produce, and circulate new local legal tender every 5 to 8 years, our existing series of banknotes, the naira, has not been redesigned in the last 20 years.
At the State House in Abuja, after 19 years since the naira was redesigned, President Muhammadu Buhari officially unveiled the new notes.
Our local laws, specifically the Central Bank of Nigeria Act of 2007, grants the Central Bank of Nigeria the power to issue and redesign the naira. In line with this power, the Central Bank Governor approached me earlier in this year to seek my permission to embark on a currency redesign project. I considered all the facts and reasons presented before me by the Central Bank. There was an urgent need to take control of currency in circulation and to address the hoarding of naira banknotes outside the banking system, the shortage of clean and fit banknotes in circulation, and the increase in counterfeiting of high-denomination naira banknotes. It is on this basis that I gave my approval for the redesign of the 200 naira, 500 naira, and 1,000 naira banknotes. The new naira banknotes have been fortified with security features that made it difficult to counterfeit. These new banknotes will help the central bank design and implement better monetary policy objectives. They will also enrich our collective memory of Nigeria's heritage.
We will indeed be more intense in ensuring that the provisions of the law and our CBN regulations about the size and volume of currencies that people can hold or can carry or can withdraw, that we would insist that this is done going forward. And I think Nigeria and the Central Bank of Nigeria is prepared at this time to move towards a cashless economy. And that is the reason why, following the redesign and issuance of this note, we would go forward to insisting that cashless will be nationwide. What we are saying is this. We announced this program October 26, 2022. And we have said that from today, this currency that is issued will be legal tender in Nigeria or all over the world, wherever it is going to be accepted. So between October 26th and January 31, 2023, we believe that is over 100 days. We have made adequate arrangement. The banks have been told that they will keep their currency processing centers open from Mondays to Saturdays, even to late hours every day.
The newly redesigned naira notes was printed by the Nigerian Security Printing and Minting Company Limited, making Nigeria one out of the 4 African countries who print their currencies locally. The Apex Bank launched the new notes and kickstart its issuance from December 15, 2022.
The bank remains resolutely determined to achieve the objective of its mandate as enshrined in Section 2B of the CBN Act of 2007 to ensure a strong and effective legal tender. It is therefore no longer tenable to continue with business as usual, especially given the continually evolving circumstances that could impeach the optimal performance of our naira. Furthermore, we believe that the redesign of the currency will help deepen our drive to entrench cashless economy, as it will be complemented by increased minting of our e-naira. This will further rein in the currency outside the banking system into the banking system, thereby making monetary policy more efficacious. Also, in view of the prevailing level of security situation in the country, the CBN is convinced that the incidence of terrorism and kidnapping will be minimized as access to large volume of money outside the banking system used as source of funds for ransom payments will begin to dry up. Ladies and gentlemen, on the basis of problems and facts set out above, and in line with the provisions of sections 2B, section 18A, and section 19, subsection A and B of the CBN Act 2007, the management of the CBN has sought and obtained the approval of President Muhammadu Buhari to redesign, produce, release, and circulate new series of banknotes at 200 naira, 500 naira, and 1000 naira levels. In line with this approval, we have finalized arrangements for the new currency to begin circulation from December 15th, 2022, after its launch by President Muhammadu Buhari. The new and existing currencies shall remain legal tender and circulate together until January 31, 2023, when the existing currencies shall cease to be legal tender. Accordingly, all deposit money banks currently holding the existing denominations of the currency may begin returning these banknotes back to the CBN effective immediately.
Speaking on the new notes, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission Chairman Abdulrashid Bawa welcomes the redesigning of the naira notes, describing CBN's move as a well-considered and timely response to the challenges of currency management.
It's a good thing that that the country is redesigning its currency now, because how can you control? How can you have an effective monetary policy when you don't have control over 85% of your currency is out there and people are holding it? People are using that, to speculate on the foreign exchange and all of that. So by coming up with this policy, the government is trying to contain that and ensure that those people that are bringing back all these monies, whether legitimately and or illegitimately, and will be able to monitor, and then the right course of the law will, take its course. As at the 22nd of October this year, we have succeeded in securing 2,847 convictions, and over 70% has to do with the issue of cybercrime. The activities of these cyber criminals is tarnishing our image by the day, across the Atlantic. People are trying to see us, as a cybercrime infested country, which I believe we are not. It is based on maybe the high number of population that you tend to see that yes, we are doing one or two things, in that area.
With you, for the first question that was asked concerning the CBN policy, I don't want you to throw it.
However, the Minister of Finance, Mrs. Zainab Ahmed, said the Central Bank of Nigeria did not consult fiscal authorities before taking a decision to redesign the nation's currency notes by December. Mrs. Zainab told lawmakers that the CBN did not consult with her before taking the decision to redesign the notes.
Really, you should call the monetary authorities because they are the competent authority to do this. We were not consulted. It was an announcement that we heard. And I've seen,
you too, you just saw the press release like every other body.
Part of the reasons that was advocated is that's one of the ways to mop up liquidity to manage inflation. But there are also consequences that we're also looking at. What would the consequences be? There will be some benefits, but there will be some challenges. And I don't know whether the monetary authorities have actually looked very closely as to what the consequences are and then how they can be mitigated. So I still advise that you have that discussion with the monetary authorities.
Silence. Thank you so much.
Meanwhile, a group of Arawa Youth Assembly threw its weight behind the Central Bank of Nigeria's cash withdrawal policy and naira redesign, which it believes will forestall the future of warehousing of naira notes by individuals. They said the new policy will also help to checkmate vote buying.
The policy is aimed at
fighting banditry and kidnapping for ransom industry, controlling the amount of money in circulation, fighting inflation and addressing issues of corruption and hoarding of naira notes. Following nationwide compliance with the policy, the Apex Bank announced that over 2 trillion naira notes are now in their vaults.
CBN branch controller Ilorin branch Najimu Lamidi reaffirmed this while speaking with journalists in Ilorin during a sensitization visit to the palace of the Emir of Ilorin, Alhaji Ibrahim Zulu Gambari.
First of all, it's a best practice that within 5 to 8 years, you're supposed to change your currency. That's the best practice. And based on that, you note that the money we are using currently, some of them, we have been using it for the past 18 to 20 years. And apart from that, to avoid counterfeiting, because when you have a currency that you have been using for a long time, so you need to strengthen the security of that currency. That is part of it. And also the hoarding of these notes. You note that CBN brought out a statistic that about 85% of the currency are not in the bank's vault. It's only about 15%. So there's need for us to know how much money we have in circulation. That is part of the reason why CBN decided to change the money. We are on this exercise because we want many people around here, Kwara State, to know about this new currency, to make sure that they accept it, they use it, and to make sure that those that have this old currency at home, that is 200 naira, 500 naira, and 1,000, they take it to their bank on time, because CBN will not extend the date, the deadline of 31st of January. So by that time, we expect everybody to take their money, the money they have at home, to take it to their various banks for deposit, so that as they take it there, then they can collect the new naira notes.
Afterwards, the CBN sensitization train was taken to the Emir's Market or Joba, Baboko Market or Jo Tutum, where traders and market women were advised to stop collecting the old 200 naira, 500 naira, and 1,000 naira notes with effect from now.
We are on this exercise because we want many people around here, Kwara State, to know about this new currency, to make sure that they accept it, they use it, and to make sure that those that have this old currency at home, that is 200 naira, 500 naira, and 1,000, they take it to their bank on time, because CBN will not extend the date, the deadline of 31st of January. So by that time, we expect everybody to take their money, the money they have at home, to take it to their various banks for deposit, so that as they take it there, then they can collect the new naira notes.
In Katsina State, the Apex Bank officials took the sensitization campaign on the new notes to the famous Katsina Central Market, where the bank's Director of Currency Operations explained that the exercise will bring the hoarded currency notes into the banking system, thereby making monetary policy more effective.
For the distribution and the deep adoption of the new redesigned currency. This exercise is carried out today across the Federation by my colleagues on behalf of the bank. We want to see a change. We want to make sure that new notes are available, and as a result, management has directed that from Friday last week, all ATMs must carry only new notes. If the banks don't have the old notes, they should not load the old notes. So we are going around the towns and cities in Nigeria to ensure that all the ATMs are loaded with new notes. And then, there is a relaxation on the policy. They can dispense any of the notes, whether it is 1,000, 500, or 200. So there is no limitation on the type of denomination they can load. My message is to tell them that the deadline for the exchange is coming close. By 31st of January, this current notes will cease to be illegal tender. All those who have notes should please take them back to their banks so that they will be exchanged or credited to their account. And two, that the Central Bank of Nigeria across the whole country has enough notes to go around to everybody. So we expect that maybe in the next few days, every ATM in Nigeria will have the new notes. We are going around to check, and we are appealing to the general public. If they go to any ATM and they see them placing old notes, they should report them to the Central Bank of Nigeria in the locations they are, so that CBN can take action on the bank and find out why they are not loading the money. We are using the ATM because that is the most democratic way that the money will get around to everybody. So that's why we don't want to do over the counter, so that they don't give only what they call high net worth customers. We want it to go around. You can take as much as 500,000 in a week based on the cash limit that has been adjusted. And for corporate bodies, they can take up to 5 million in a week. So we feel ATM is more democratic, that it will go around everybody, instead of allowing it to be given to only privileged people.
On his part, the Deputy Director, National Orientation Agency, Lawal, pledges to support nationwide campaign on the new redesigned currency in all the 34 local government areas of Katsina State.
We are going to stage campaign in all the 34 local government of Katsina State, including the local government that have security challenges. We have our officers there. We have our volunteers in every ward. So we are going to make best use of them to disseminate the information. So that we are going to talk to people to show them the features of the new design naira notes, so that they will not be deceived. We are also going to tell them that there are this deadline, 21st January, 31st. So everybody should comply. People should make best, should try to see that they are all notes they deposited in the bank, or they use the POS or whatever source, so that they will not lose their money. So this is what we are going to do. We have enough fasters to use, and we have the megaphone. We act as town crier. We are going to also, on Friday, we are going to visit all the Juba mosques in the state. We are also going to visit all the churches to disseminate the same information. That's what we are going to do. Also, we have our own communication van, a vehicle with loudspeakers on top of it. We are going to reach people in the major towns in the state to disseminate this information, inshallah.
Well, that's it on this episode of the program. Thanks for your time and, of course, your usual company. I'm Jeffrey Uzongo.